Okay, so I wanted to get started asking about the development of the film. Isaiah, I specifically wanted to ask you about working on the script and what that process was like of writing the story for the film.
Yeah, absolutely. It started actually as a pilot. I thought, man, and what better just, hey, if anybody's listening and wants to make the prequel or something like that. But I was like, man, music, a venue, what better thing to smush it all together? And I started realizing that this particular story had to end, like I thought this phase of Rufus and this phase isn't working as a TV show because Roller wants to close. This is the end of it, and TV shows don't end after 4 episodes. So I started realizing I think it's meant to be a movie. And as soon as I started kind of writing it in that direction, it still took because scripts are complicated, but it really took on a new life. And I realized, oh, this is what this story is about. It's a Rufus letting go, and that's when it kind of became what it is now.
And then I also wanted to ask you, Kevin, and Johnny, as well as being actors in the film, and what really inspired you both to take part in the film and how you became attached to the story and the movie overall.
Me and Isaiah met, talks about the project, and it's peasy. So we went off and decided to run with it. So it's easy.
I think I got a text from a mutual friend, Bryce McGuire, who's on this, about meeting with Isaiah, and in typical eccentric Isaiah fashion, which I didn't know at the time, he told me to meet him in a park. And so we met in a park. I got to this park in Pasadena by myself. I was quickly like, did he set me up to be mugged? And then I looked in the distance and I just saw a man running towards me, sweating. And I was like, this is my last sight. This bearded man running towards me, and then a knife or something, or a gun, whatever, strangle me. I'm going to die here regardless. But instead, he said, hi, I'm the director. He talked about the so that's how I got involved, was a tremendous icebreaker, of an out-of-breath director.
Also, Isaiah, I also wanted to ask you, speaking about directing the film, what that experience was like, and really going from working on the script into directing the film as well.
Yeah, it was a total thrill on one hand, and at the same time, I maybe super experienced directors get on set and actually make the exact movie that they make, maybe, but I got on set and I was like, okay, I'm going to do everything I can to make the movie, but it takes on a life of its own. So that was the big thing. And I think really, really quickly in the first couple of days of production, I realized, okay, this is going to work at its best if we can all continue to let it evolve. And like really my job as the director was less to be sort of autocratic, like this is exactly what we have to do at every single moment. And I told, Johnny, you guys maybe remember, Kevin, that I realized very early on that my job was really to figure out what's the DNA of the movie and really protect that at all costs and not fight every single other battle. There's too many of them. And I realized pretty quickly, like the heart and soul of it and the mood and the character, those arcs, that's what I had to focus on and really trust everybody else to do jobs really well, which thankfully they did. So we ended up with a great final product.
Once you all got on set, what was the experience like of being able to work together and really building the characters and the story? And did you all maybe have rehearsal time together, or what was that experience like of really collaborating together?
I mean, to piggyback off what Zay was saying, I think that's one of the, give him his kudos and his flowers. Like, I think that's one of the hardest things to do as a director, to actually trust the other people that are responsible for making movies. Especially from American context, so focused on individualism. And I I did this. So it's easy. I think it would be easy to go on set. You have to wink like this because that's what I had in my head at 2:00 in the morning. But trusted us as actors, and like his relationship with our cinematographer and everybody else on set, a huge family, like at this one venue, and that DNA is injected into the movie. So for me, it was a thrill to work with Kevin and Kate, else on set. So it was a beautiful thing.
Kevin, I also wanted to ask you as well, and really getting to collaborate maybe with the rest of the cast and with Isaiah as well overall.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we would do these big. We'd start with these really big wides, and we would discover in those, and then we'd start punching in. But yeah, like Zay was saying, the scene was changed because so much stuff would be happening that would be different, and we'd stumble upon some improv or something. They were kind of even in those takes, they had a loose, almost rehearsal-ish vibe to them. What was kind of cool too is they would think of ideas on the fly, and if we were moving at a steady clip, we would implement them. One of them was the scene between me and Johnny, and in which we had Zay as the Wonkies promoter, and he was such a dick of a character. But God, if we were talking, he was like, "Don't you just want to? I just like beat him up or something." And then Zay was like, "We should do it. Do it. Let's beat me up. Let's beat." So then it was like we did this scene. I was like, "Where are you gonna put this in?" He was like, "I have no idea. Let's just beat me up and we'll shoot it." It was like, "Should we choreograph it?" And he was like, "No, not at all. Just don't actually hit me." So then we just had where like and it works perfectly. It's one of my favorite moments in the movies. It's like this like elbow drop, and then this fantasy that we are collectively having of just beating the hell out of Isaiah's character. It was very loose and very collaborative and freewheeling, so it was a lot of fun.
And also speaking about the venue where the movie's mainly set, and what was that experience like for you all, and really filming in that main location overall during production?
I'll jump in really quick too, and kind of piggybacking on the last question about working together. It was always sort of to make Robert Altman is a huge influence on me, and so he's where I kind of learned, and I realized, like, okay, if I'm going to make an Altman style movie, we're going to have to be in one place. We're going to have to get to know this spot. We're going to have to again choose certain battles, and that was why I was so grateful when we found Rollers, because you could really be transitioning from one space to another space very seamlessly. For instance, his being above the venue, that was something I wrote into the script way before I knew we'd be shooting at the Highland Park Ebell. I'm going to have to get rid of that, but I'm keeping it for now because I'm stubborn. And then we found the place, and these great scenes where things are overlapping and there's people talking in the background and there's things going on, and it gives this sense of life to it. But anyway, you guys go ahead.
Wait, what was the question?
What was it like working the main location overall throughout the film?
Oh, it was great because I got to drive to one place the whole time. That was actually excellent. Trying to battle LA traffic, I knew exactly what. I knew all the shortcuts over the course of the month. I knew where to park. That was great. But then like the becomes a family space. It almost felt like I was at Big Mama's house. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go to grandma's house and like everybody's there, everybody already knows where their room is. You hide snacks, all those things. You know where to get a beer. So it was great being able to film in one location for the whole fun.
And I got to walk to work every day, which was great. My wife, I lived in that neighborhood, so that was super cool. And I think also the fact that it was labeled as a concert venue. It was in itself a concert venue. We got to have a show there, so that was super cool. The acoustics were awesome. One of the best days, I think we can all agree, was watching her, which was really neat.
And also, Isaiah, I also wanted to ask you about producing the film as well, and what that experience was like for you, and balancing the directing with producing on set as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. In development, it was obviously relatively simple because I didn't have to fight someone about, well, we can't afford that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm the one to change it now, which was nice. On set, I really had to lean heavily on my producer, Ansley, because as a producer, I think I had this at the beginning of the project. I'm taking my producer hat off. I'm going to fight for the creative decision. I have to be the director because if I'm kind of fighting my own battles about, oh, we've got to move on, we've got to do this, I'm not going to push hard enough to get going to push hard enough to spend a little extra time here or there. And so I really leaned on my Tara, and it was a small team, but Tara, our ADs, Theo and Jessamine, and let the production team. We kind of had a code where it was like, okay, this is me should move on versus this me saying you will really, really regret it if we don't move. You develop that kind of shorthand with each other, and that was really essential to, especially because I was in that role. But anyway.
And also, I wanted to ask about the editing for the film and what that experience was like of putting the final version of the film together as well.
Super hard. We had someone set that, and this is, we largely ended up shooting, what I wrote, but, sad things, whatever. But the first cut I put together was 2 hours and 20 minutes long, which is, for a movie like this is not, you hear about that more with big movies, but in part because we were at Rollers, we'd grab, do whatever. So, now it's 100 minutes. I mean, that's a lot of there. And that wasn't like a lot of extra long scenes. I mean, we just cut a lot. And that was partly because I realized, again, finding new ways that the movie wanted to be its own thing and was taking on life of its own, and that the characters were evolving in ways that I wasn't even necessarily in control of. And so I spent about 9 months putting it together, and there are 3 dramatic versions of the film that it currently exists somewhere on my hard drive that probably will never be seen, because then it sort of won out, and really became clear, like this is the the most exciting version of the film that that's tight and really drives towards an ending, which is really important for a film to feel like it's always moving forward. So.
And then lastly, I also wanted to ask you all about the film's upcoming release and what you're all looking forward to with the digital release and getting to connect with audiences like on demand, and how that distribution deal maybe came about as well.
Yeah, I'll speak briefly. Came about, my executive producer, Tiffany Boyle, is a great sales agent. And so we actually didn't do festivals, which was just the timing of it. It worked. And we thought, well, we could wait till next year, or we could just take it out to market and see if there's an appetite for it. And 33 stepped up, and we had actually a lot of offers that I was thrilled about. But 33 was the first one that I felt like really was the right home for it. And yeah, I couldn't be more happy to finally be able to share this with people, because it's been a long road. I mean, we shot it in 2019, and the plan originally was like, oh, it'll be out in 2020, no big deal. And it just didn't that way. And that's great. It worked out perfectly. But I'm so excited to be able to hearing what people think about it, because so far it's just been such a tiny group of people that have seen it. And I think it's the kind of movie that people are going to want with each other. But anyway, I don't know if Johnny and Kevin, you guys have any thoughts on that?
I'm just excited for it to be out. I'm excited for it to be out. Put a lot of hard work into it. I was excited to put the trailer out. I've been getting great feedback about that. People are stoked about the movie. Poster art was fantastic. So yeah, I'm excited about June 20th. I'm excited about Friday. So let's kick the tires and light the fires.
I think that was mainly it, but thank you all again for taking the time out today. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks.